Hello, this is Scott Serretta. I'm known as Serretta on Reef Central. And today I've got a couple new things to show, but I'm really going to highlight the Tunze Multi-Controller 7096. And this is also the Artsy Cube, which is not quite done in production. Most of the tank is done. I'm pretty happy with the equipment. I still have a little bit to do with the corals and the lighting, but and the cylinder stand. As you can see, this is my office. And this is just an old cabinet that I use for now, but I'm having a stand built for the Artsy Cube. So what we're going to highlight today is the Tunze 7096 controller. And let's highlight in on that. This is a great little device. I'm extremely pleased with it so far. It has 4 jacks here, also a USB cable port, and as you can see, the LEDs are flashing right now. I have it currently set up for channel 2, which is socket 3 and 4, and I'm using socket 4, that is for wave action. And then in socket 1 and 2, I have that set up in pulse action. There's also a food timer switch, pretty typical Tunze controller fashion. Okay, so if we look at the tank, what we can see here is we have about a 1 inch wave going, and this is the current wave action that I'm using. But I'm going to take you through a few different settings, show you some of the things that I really like about this function and how it works. But let me orient you to the tank a little bit. What I'm using are 2 Tunze 6055 Nano Tunze pumps. These are both controllable by 12 volts, and I am not using the wave boxes. The Artsy Cube actually has, it's a 14-inch cube system, and in the back I have a foamed back, and as you can see, there are intake ports on the top. There are 3 intake ports that pull into the sump area. There's one there, one over on the left, and then one right dab in the middle above that coral on top. And then the 2 Tunze pumps, one is here on the left. As you can see it wave actioning, it's spinning and stopping, spinning and stopping. It's on 0.3 seconds. And then this one is set on socket 1. This is oscillating or pulsing between 30% to, I think I have it set at 80%. So the 2 pumps are in the bottom. The sump, or in this case it kind of functions as the nano wave box, is built into the back. Also, the facet of the Artsy Cube, as you can tell, there's no overhanging wires. Everything is actually run through the tank itself. No wires are exposed at all. I'm still working on the overhanging system, and I'm going to find a way to get rid of these hanging wires, or at least hide them and make them look better. So I'm still working on that aspect a little bit. But if we take the top off here, what you can see inside is the sump. I use a Tunze skimmer, and I had a custom built in tank by Stevie T, a little skimmer cup that fits this system a little bit better. And then what you can see here, this is kind of the heart of the system. I have the pipe, which is a standpipe, goes down out of the bottom. All the wires go in and out through this pipe. Everything else is kept internally, or it's run through this light pole here on the top. So all the wires are hidden. I have a float switch for an auto top-off system. And the pumps are located down there, and there's one of the Tunzes right there, as you can see. And then all that water surging into the tank is actually what's coming in through the intakes, which are the 3 ports on top. Okay, so that's a bit about the system itself. Alright, so now we're going to take a look at the screenshot here. I hope the lighting comes out okay. So what we currently have this screenshot set in is over on the left side, or actually let's look here in the middle. We have power 1 on the bottom, power 2. So socket 1 is hooked up at 100 over 30. Socket 2 is not hooked up, but it's 100 over 50. Socket 3 and 4 are grayed out because I've selected the wave controller mode. In wave controller mode, that allows your pump to go from off to on. In pulse mode, it will go from the low setting power 1 to the high setting power 2. That's kind of how the pumps work. So the other options here in the wave controller options are you have to select and unselect that box. You can also set up inverse, which I really like. And that makes one pump go on while the other one is off. But you have to have both pumps hooked up into 3 and 4. And auto adjust is a feature where you can find the resonance frequency in the tank. So you just start that and the pump will change and the wave will be created or muted if the wave frequency is off. It's a pretty neat feature, and I'll show you how that works. And then over here we have pulse only, interval, and sequential. Again, I just got this unit. It's pretty new. I haven't explored with all the options, but I can also tell you that many I won't use. Interval and sequential I will not be using, and I will not discuss those today. Okay, the data is a way that this file that I have running right now, I actually have it named and saved, so I can play with it all I want, and at the end of the show I just go and reload that data that I saved so I have my exact settings. And you can receive from the unit, and that's what I did this morning. I just told the unit, okay, tell me my current settings. That's what's in there. You can send to the unit, and that's what we'll be doing when I make a change. I'll send it to the unit. The unit won't recognize the change until you send it over. All right, and then if we look at the other options over here, the food timer, you can change that. I put it at 3 minutes. Moonlight is a small little LED that lights up. It's built into the light sensor. I actually have that disabled. I use the lunar lights from the aqua illumination device. And storm cycle, I haven't really gotten into that yet. I'm not sure how it's going to work, but the caution with that is it will randomly blow lots of flow, so you need to make sure the flow is not going to blow water out of the tank, which was a concern of mine, so I have it disabled right now. Night mode is cool. What that allows you to do is when the lights go off, the sensor senses the lights are off, and it will turn the pumps down to night mode. Now this is one of the features that I wish would be improved in the future, because in socket 3 and 4 it turns them completely off. So when I have both pumps hooked up on the wave controller at night, they both shut down and there's no wave action. There's the small Tunze's got that built-in, I think it's about every 5 seconds you get a quick little blast of flow, and that's only to keep fish from going into the propeller port. So that's what that's for. It's enough to kind of stir the water, but I really want flow at night. So what I'm currently running is one pump is in socket 4, the other pump is in socket 1. And in socket 1, when you go into night mode, night mode, it will revert your device to 30% because that's what I have set on power 1. If I had it hooked up into socket 2, then I could get night mode at 50%. And only one pump operates during night mode, but that is plenty of flow. The other thing I really like about these Tunze 6055 is the selector switches on the back. And what I'm currently using is one pump. This is the pump that I have on wave action. It's set at 20 volts. And the other pump is the one that's used for pulse, which I use for night mode. That's set at 12 volts. That's a new pump. It still needs to break in. And as it breaks in, it won't be quite as noisy. But right now I have it in 12 volt, mostly because of the noise as well. So if you want more flow, you can increase the voltage of the units, and that will give you more flow. The caveat to that is as you make changes to your voltage, you will also need to change your resonance frequency. It's close, but it's usually off by 0.1 seconds, so you do need to change and make an adjustment there. Okay, so let's go back and take a look at this wave. I'm getting about a 1-inch wave right now, and it's going from front to